So really, Tarek, it's a pleasure to speak to you. You are in Deutschland, I am in France. You are in Berlin, I am in Paris, just around Paris. So perhaps my first question will be about the last time you play on stage. It was a long time ago. You do a tour. It was a Majesty tour. It was in October 2019 and in November also, the beginning of November. Uh, how was this tour and what we remembering do you have of your last tour since a long time?
Yeah, it's a very long time, and I remember that it was great, and we had a lot of fun. But at the end of the tour, we kind of felt that our batteries were like burned out a little bit, and that we needed like a break. So we decided in 2019 to go on like we wanted to go on a 1 year break and then come back. But then, as we all know, the fucking pandemic hit the world, and our break was like extended to 3 years, so more than 3 years already. So that was a not planned but very long break, and what I can say, I missed being on stage, and that's what I remember from the tour, the great feeling of standing on stage and having people in front of you, looking in the faces of each other, and having a great heavy metal party and lots of fun and emotion. And now it's definitely time to go back, and we're so glad that this new album will come out very soon.
Yes, you will play on stage also in April. What is finally a good show for you?
A good show is, I think, the most important thing is the connection between the band, which is Majesty in this case, and the people standing in the audience. Because if the audience is not into the songs as much as the band, this whole magic isn't happening. So for me, the best show is, and you feel that, I can't even describe it, but you feel it when you are like one with the audience. So it's not like the band on stage and the audience looking at the band, but it's like one union, feeling the same thing, going through the same emotions. That's what makes a good show for me, I guess. So it's something you can't describe, but something you can feel, and you can feel it when you are in the audience, but you can also feel it when you are on stage, and we are like together as one. That's like the perfect show for me if that happens, and it happens quite often actually. That's the cool thing, because I think our songs are very emotional. A lot of people can like relate to the message of Majesty songs, which is like live your dreams and do what you want to do. And I think that kind of message connects us when we play live also.
So yes, it was so finally you take a long break because there is the COVID, the pandemic, all what happened. So I suppose you have a lot of time to write. How was the writing this time? Do you write a lot of songs? Do you take your time to think about the songs that you will put on this new album? How was it? Was it a
Well,
little different?
kind of was, because we decided like in beginning or mid 2021, I started writing songs for the new Majesty album. And but it was kind of weird because I only wrote them like at home, and writing them on my own, and then send them over to the other guys later on as demos. That was kind of, but that's what I always do. It always starts writing on a piano, or me sitting with a guitar and playing the song. But this time, the close connection with the other members wasn't there immediately. So what we did this time was I sent over demos, and they put in their input. So it was kind of weird, but the good thing was, as soon as we got together again in 2022, I guess, to rehearse and to rehearse the songs for the studio recordings, we felt the same magic again. So it was different at the beginning, but then as soon as we met again, we felt the same great energy again.
Do you what was the challenge in the writing for this album? Is there a challenge for the writing back to the attack on
Um, the thing is with writing, you should never plan anything. I think the best songs always happen if you don't plan how the album should be at the end. You just write without overthinking anything. So I think that's always the most important challenge, to stop overthinking what you do and just do it. Because as soon as you overthink stuff, it kind of gets in a mechanical in a way, if it makes sense.
Mm.
But I think good songs need to come from within, and without like, of course, you can always go and plan, now this album is gonna be like a fast one, this album is gonna be like a slow one or anything, but we don't plan that. It comes together automatically. But now afterwards, when we listen to the album, I think what the cool thing is about Back to Attack, it kind of puts all the band stands for on one release, which is like we have fast songs, we have a ballad on the album, we have like mid-tempo sing-along songs. So it was not a challenge, but we are very happy with the result.
You call this album Back to the Attack. It is finally because finally you do a comeback 4 years after, 5 years after. Is it the idea behind the title of this album?
Kind of. As I said, when we sat together, we said if we, after this long time of doing nothing, we need to come back with kind of a force and like a mighty boom, if you know what I mean. And I think we needed a title to bring this boom into words, and we had in mind Back to Attack, which is like the perfect description of what we wanted. We wanted to show that it was a long break, but now we are back with full force and with full energy, and with I think this album proves that a lot. So it was like the perfect title for the album, I think, because it symbolizes the force and the power we felt when we wrote the songs and when we finally are able to release them.
That's why finally you choose this song to be the single, the first single of the album. There another one who just come out 4 days ago, but the first single was this song, Back to the Attack.
Exactly, and I remember we wanted to, what I remember best when we recorded the song and we filmed the video for it. We filmed it in the snow, and that was like freezing cold. It was like -degrees, and we stood there with our band outfit, which was nearly nothing on our bodies. But on the other hand, we said, yeah, this this kind of symbolizes also like the attack mood we are in at the moment. We are standing on a mountain, full winter, but we are together and play our songs. So I think this video was like perfect for Back to Attack, and the video shows what the song stands for in a way.
I suppose, yes, I see the video. It was incredible. You are very high, and it's very cold too. I suppose it's not very easy to be in the snow like you are dressed with nothing, just t-shirts.
It was pretty freezing, and we had the funny thing is we couldn't drive up there with our band car. We had to park like a few hundred meters below, and we had to carry all the stuff up on that mountain, like the whole drum kit and everything. And then one thing I remember after the shoot, I didn't feel my hands anymore. They were like gone. It was like, what the fuck? Are they dead now? But thankfully they came back. And also what was very challenging, the solo part, when Emanuel, our lead guitar player, had to play the solo for the video. And it's so hard, he said, it's so hard to move your fingers that fast when they're freezing. So that was kind of very challenging.
There are also some Wolf. I see some Wolf, very quick. How did you get this Wolf?
Yeah, they were not there with us. We had this material separately, so we just cut it in.
It's better.
But we said I know in Germany we have wolves now, but that would be a very, very cool coincidence if they just came by. So we said we're gonna cut. So they were not there originally, but we cut them in, and I think they fit in perfectly. And the good thing was you find a lot of cool footage with wolves in snow, so it was easy to cut in, and but honestly, it's always a dream of mine to see a real wolf when you walk through the forest, because I think they're very beautiful animals. So I really love wolves, and they symbolize power but also like when they're kind of magic animals in my opinion. So I really love wolves, and also dogs, of course.
You write finally you write all the song. How do you know finally when you write that you get a good song that will get the album?
That's a good question. I think you never know it, but you kind of feel it in a way, because I think first I think the essence when you write a song, you always write it for yourself, and I think it only can be a good song if you feel very comfortable and very emotional by yourself first when you write it first, and then the possibility that it's going to be a good song is very high because you stand for it. On the other hand, for instance, I never understand like musicians who say they don't listen to their own music. I think for me, I really enjoy listening to my own music, and I don't mean it in an arrogant way. I mean it in a very fulfilling way. Because the first step is always to write a song for yourself, and you have to be completely happy and 100% happy, and then you develop it for the public. So I think you never know that the song is good, but if you feel that it's good, then I think that's the most important thing, and then most of the time it works with the audience and with the listener also. I think that's what art means for me. First for yourself, and then for the listener, and at the end, it's a united thing, if it makes sense.
On this album, when I listen to the album, one of the things, there are many things, but one of the things I think immediately, there is a huge sound. How was the recording in studio? How do you work? Is it in a real studio, or is it in your own studio, mobile home studio, something like that?
It's kind of, we're in two real studios. I have my own studio here in Berlin, a small studio, but we have like a full drum kit. We have like everything here. So we did the recording here. And then a very good friend of mine who has the Spiral Music Studio in Würzburg. He's also the live FOH live mixer of Majesty, and he mixed and mastered the album. So it was a combination. The band was here in my studio. We recorded it, and then we sent over the files to Spiral Music Studio, and he mixed them. And I think we're very, very proud of the result, because I think we managed to have this kind of traditional Majesty vibe, but have it in a very modern and powerful production. And I think that's what makes the album outstanding also, like the combination of best of both worlds in a way. So we are very happy with the sound and how powerful it sounds.
As a singer, and also you play keyboard, do you have some challenge in studio, when you sing when you know that you will record 12 songs? Do you have an idea? Do you have some challenge that you are in your head each time?
And the good thing is, since I can record it in my own studio. I have like the time I want, the time I need. So if I go there on a day and my voice isn't that good on the day, I just don't record. I think that's a very cool benefit if you have your own studio to record stuff. So for me, and I know for me as a singer, I feel it as soon as I enter my studio and I sing a song, and you feel if you got the vibe on the day or not. So that's a very cool thing to have the time and your own studio, so I don't have to worry about some timing. I think that's a horrible thing. Imagine if you go to a studio and you have like only 5 days for the whole album, and then you have to sing properly. That would be horrible for me. So I'm very grateful and happy that we have our own studio to record.
And there is this new single, Freedom Child, which just come out. It was not in the snow this time,
thank God.
It was.
But it was cold also. The venue was not heated, so but it was not as cold as the first one.
It was. What is the thematic of the song? What do you like to speak in this song? What do you want to speak? Is it? I see the clip, the video, and it's about freedom. Do what you want to do finally in your life.
Yeah, I think that exactly that's what it's all about, and that's what like also always is and will be the main message of Majesty. In a world we're living in, we are so many times we are forced into doing and being someone we don't want to be, or work something we hate. So this song is kind of a soundtrack to say, I don't want that anymore. I want something else. And I think that what true freedom is to enjoy the moment and to enjoy everything you do, and not being forced into something you don't like. So in this video you see the main character, the girl. He's like, she hates her job, and at the end she just quits, and her new job is what she loves, which is like streaming and gaming and stuff. But this can be on everything. If you are in school and the teacher is always like making fun of you and stuff, that's what you should stand for, and you should always. I think the song is about taking your life back and being free again. That's kind of the main message of it, I think.
On these 12 songs, what are the thematic you like to speak? Of course, there is some tracks like Glorious Warriors. We understand immediately what about what you speak. But is there some texts who are more close to you, perhaps more autobiographic, but perhaps more in a guillemets in French? I don't serious, very serious.
Yes. I think, of course, we sing in some songs. We sing about like a fantasy imaginary with warriors, but in songs like "In the Silence," for instance, we sing about very personal inner thing. But the main message, which is also like a meta thing when you listen to the lyrics, is this, as I said, this fight of doing what you want to do and live your dreams and live the moment. And that's kind of the basic message of every Majesty song, no matter if it's like about a warrior who's fighting or demon war, but also like it can always be transferred into like something emotional, something close in yourself. This kind of inner fight, because we are kind of in a fight all the time. And there are always like people and stuff telling you what to do and what you shouldn't do. And I think the main message is to find out what you really love and what you really want to do and then do it. That's kind of the main message going through all the songs.
You tell me about Silence, great song. It was a ballad, a beautiful ballad on keyboards, voice keyboards, with a little guitar, of course, in the silence. But is it more difficult to write that kind of songs, that typical heavy song?
Actually, yeah, it was not difficult, but we wanted to try it with Majesty because we never did that. Because as I said, normally we're using like an image to talk about a meta thing, but in the silence we talked about the thing itself, which means like in your life you are kind of depressed and you don't feel anything anymore and you need some hope. And this song should give people hope to like live your dream again and live your life again. So it wasn't difficult for me. It was more. It's a very clear song saying that there is always hope at the end of the tunnel, but you should really search for it and get out of the darkness, because the darkness is so bad for you. If you're like in a depression or in a very bad state, you should always like search for the light. And this is what the song is all about, to find that light again. But it's hard to find it because sometimes, as I said before, sometimes the world is so brutal and the world tells you that you are not good or you can't reach certain things. And this is kind of a soundtrack that you can reach things if you really want them, and you should at least always try to reach them and don't let people tell you not to do certain things.
So one thing is very incredible that finally the band exists since 23 years. You begin around 2000. How do you see your all this year? How do you analyze all what happened for the band? You did many albums. The first one is Keep It True, and the same name of the festival. But how do you analyze finally all this year, all what you did, you do, and you did with this band?
Honestly, I tell you the truth, I don't analyze too much because I believe in that the past happened and it was always right when you did it. I don't think it's good to like say, this album is not what I am, but it was what I was at the moment when I wrote it. So it doesn't make, for me, it doesn't make sense to analyze too much, but acknowledge what you did and that it was always right at the moment you did it, and it was always true to yourself. And that's what is very important for me. When we play music, it should always represent what we feel and who we are at the very moment. And of course, if you look back, there are always some stuff you say, yeah, you wouldn't do that anymore, or you would do that better, or the sound is not how you would do it today. But you shouldn't analyze it. You just should say, yeah, it's here and it's my past, but I live in the moment and I want to create art and music now. And that's the way I look at our music.
Well, from where came finally this fascination about the new wave of British heavy metal, of that kind of stuff? You tell me at the beginning with a modern sound, of course, but I know that you're a great fan of all this kind of band. From where came this fascination, this love of this kind of music?
Actually, maybe I would say from my parents, because I remember as I was a kid and I found the first, like, in my father's record collection, I found like AC/DC, Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses, and Accept. I found these and I loved them as a small child, and it immediately was love from the first moment I listened to that kind of music. So it's kind, I kind of can't explain what happened, but something very magical happened within me, and I knew that, yeah, that's That's what I love, what I want to do. And great melody for me, especially as a singer and a songwriter, great melodies and very epic melodies are like giving me a very magical feeling, and that's maybe where this fascination for this music comes from.
I see that I read that you have also a side project, something like that. Dawn Rider with some great musicians, Ross the Boss, Rob Rock, the guys of many year old, a lot of people like that. How was this experience to work with different artists from the same style but in a different move? How was it?
It was very cool. It was very long ago now, but I remember it was a complete different experience because I had this story in mind with like many characters as singers and guitar players. Also, Ross the Boss played, my good friend and stuff. So it was a very fascinating experience because for Majesty you always write for your voice, for yourself, but with Stormwater it was kind of writing like an opera thing because I knew we have many different characters, many different vocalists, many different musicians. And it was challenging, but it was lots of fun. It was so much fun. I remember we had some of the guys were even in the studio at the time. Some of the guys just sent over the files, but it was so much fun. And many people asked me if I want to do it again, and because at this time we said we're gonna do a second part of it, but at the moment I can't say because I don't have the time, honestly. But I'd love to. Maybe one day this will gonna happen to do a second part. But it was very lots of hard work, but lots of fun also.
Is there some artists, some musicians that you really it will be it was a dream to work with?
Good question. Actually, many of them. I can't name like one, but it was yeah. It's no, I can't name one because it would be unfair to others. So for me, I'm not the guy who like is only a fan of one guy forever. But there are many people I love, many people I like, and it would be unfair to name one person now because it's. I think art. The great thing about art is that many people have their own unique way of being and of singing and of playing. So I can't name one guy actually. It's impossible.
Do you remember the first band that you listened when you were, I suppose, a kid?
Yeah, I think it was AC/DC. I actually found really I found my father had the Highway to Hell record, I think it was. And this was like the first time I can remember that I listened to hard guitars. I think it's AC/DC Highway to Hell.
That's how you get finally the virus.
Pardon me?
AC/DC. You get the virus with AC/DC, the virus of the music with AC/DC.
Yeah, exactly. I found them in my father's collection at this time.
Just some question about one question about Keep It True because it was an incredible story. You are also the organizer. I don't know you create this festival. Keep It True.
Yeah, we're in the middle of it right now. While we're talking, 10 emails with flight reservations for bands are coming in. So it's like. I just read one because one cropped up on the screen.
I suppose it was a huge job.
Pardon me?
I suppose it was a big job.
Yeah, it is. But it's fun. I mean, the festival organization and I do together with my good friend Oliver Weinshammer. It's always so much work, but at the end, it's always worth it if you see so many happy faces standing in the audience and listening to these bands. I love it. But sorry, I interrupted you. You wanted to ask me a question.
So just to finish the interview, just about if you meet some guys in French or in other country who just know the name of the band, what will you say to present the band and to present this new album to this guy?
I think if you need like the soundtrack to fulfill your dreams and you want like a very pounding and powerful heavy metal album as a soundtrack for your dreams and for freedom, Back to Attack is, I think, a very, very good album for you, and at least give it a listen. And I really hope you can feel the same magic than we did when we wrote these songs, songs of freedom, of power, of being yourself and fighting for your beliefs. That's what the band stands for. And I think you hear that when you listen to the album, and yeah, that's what I would say.
So perhaps one day we will see the band on stage in France, in Paris, and in all the town of France. Do you think about that?
Yeah, we hopefully we're not sure yet if we're gonna do a tour very soon. But we are working on it. We are talking with booking agents at the moment and stuff. So I think the first thing will be this release show we're having in Würzburg, and then we will have like one or two other festivals, and then we will hopefully do a tour. But we're not sure about this yet because we're still working on it. So we will. The best thing would always be to follow us on like Instagram and on our social media and our webpage and see if something's coming up. But we'd love to, of course.
So thank you very much, Zarek. It was really a pleasure to speak to you. Really.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure too. Thank you.